called the Music Road Deal, and Dave Grohl talks about it incredibly. We're on Sonic Highways 2016, I think, when that album came out, and the documentary, you know what I'm talking about? They
No,
go to,
I didn't see it.
it's incredible. They go to every big city in the United
Might be
States.
watching it soon, though.
Dude, watch it. Like,
Yeah.
it's such an amazing concept for an album because they go to all the big cities and like, you know, they go to Chicago, they hang out with Buddy Guy. They go to Nashville, they hang out with Dan Arbach, Black Keys, and Zach Brown, and they go to Austin, Texas, Gary Clark Jr., whatever, right? And so when they go to Nashville, they interview Dan Arbach and Carrie Underwood, getting both the countryside and like, you know, the rock and roll side,
yeah.
and they call it Music Road Deal, where they get Vinny, the best looking dude. They get you a pub deal where you're not even gonna write the music. You might get a couple lines, in, but it's all the top writers. Then they get you a record deal because to break a single at radio, it's like literally $250,000.
Yeah.
Because you just have to keep pushing it, and eventually, ding, 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 you hit number one. Now that country star is a product. You go, hey, and that's a big thing in the country world. Like, oh, down Music Row, you see all the banners. Like, we got our first number one. Like, it's a huge thing. And so that was the deal. And I was like, man, I don't even sing like that. I remember in the last meeting we had to go, who's your favorite country star? And I was like, at the time, I was like, Will Hogue, and he's more Americana.
Yeah.
And even though he's had some big, I think Eli Young Band cut his song, Even It Breaks Your Heart, so that became a big country song, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm saying is, like, I was like, dude, I think it's like the kiss of death. If I mess this up, it'll ruin my name, even though I was so broke. And my roommate at the time was like, you're an idiot, dude. How can you turn that down? Because that's who he wanted to be. He wanted to be like one of those kind of guys. But anyway.
Not for you.
But because of that, that deal and all these like hype, not about me, but because that deal, my buddy's friend gave me the idea to start a bourbon company. Well, a spirit with
2015?
2015 with a spirit with my name attached to it. And so I was like, well, my last name's Boone, so bourbon, and bourbon's nicer than whiskey. And bourbon was just really popping off in like 2015. Like, everyone's drank Jack Daniels for years. Yeah. And so, like, if you remember 15 years ago, craft beer was popping off. There's a new one all the time, you know, because back in the 90s, Budweiser, they literally call it the king of beers. They would say like 18 out of 20 people had a Budweiser in their hand. Do you see anybody with a Budweiser in their hand these days?
Yeah, very rare.
Never. And so those big companies now bought all the microbreweries and they control it now, right? And so that's what's happening with whiskey. Everyone's coming out with it. They're getting bought out. I think Penelope just got bought out last week by a huge company called MGP. Like, it's wild what's going on. And so I was at this big liquor store, and I was like, you know, you had to learn the stuff when you're selling it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what the hell? Angel's Envy, Bullet was becoming big then. I was like, well, there's a lot of bourbons out there. And I had no idea. And so he gave me the idea, and I was like, well, Kentucky's right over here from Nashville. It's not far. Louisville, you know, like the heart of Kentucky. It's like religion there, or heart of bourbon. And anyway, I was like, well, let me figure it out. Because you figure it out, I'll pay for it. And so I was like, well, I didn't take that deal. This could be my way to make it. And so
using the bourbon as
a way to be like, hey, check it out, I'm a musician.
Music, cool.
Yep. And then, you know, and it works in a sense because people then take you more serious because there's a business behind you. But also that most people assume that it's a like a sponsorship deal. It's like, no, I actually own it, you know. And so blah blah blah. The dude didn't have the money. I'm just gonna run right through it. The dude didn't have the money. 2015, 2017, I moved back to Nashville, or to Charleston from Nashville, because I had to have like a very specific eye surgery. And so when I'm recovering, I was just like, I wonder if there's a distillery in here, because what I learned through, I was going through the TTB, there's all these federal things. I was like literally educating myself online every day. And what I needed was a state license. I got my federal so easy. Yeah. But every state, that's how the liquor industry works. I did this interview with Rob Dyrdek once, because he's got one called Whiskey Leather or something. I forget, or Whiskey Feather. And we're talking about, it's a 3-tier system. It's very hard. And then you have to get every state, you have to get a license. Like, and that's insane, because some states are way harder. Some are very easy. Some are $50. Some are like $300 a year. Like, it's a whole different thing. And so these guys at Straight Pig Distillery at the time, they used to own it. Todd, James, and Johnny were like, yo, man, like, we can make this for you, and we can give you your license. I was like, oh my God. So I stuck around for a year, was gigging, saving up money. And then my dad was like, hey, I want to do this with you. I was like, well, then match my money. Wow. And yeah. I mean, dude, it was so cool, because now it's a father-son thing, and, you know, we didn't know what the hell we were doing, and now we know what we're doing.
He's still, you guys are still partnered on it?
Yeah. So he lives in Charleston. Now we're with Nipatati Distillery with this guy named Traxler. He's awesome. He makes some incredible gin. But yeah, we launched in 2018, and then we did 223 cases, and we just kept flipping it, and then we landed in 26 states because of me touring. But I will say this: we've learned, right? And so it's not best to go super far out. It's best to dig deep. And so now we're only focusing in California, Texas, Illinois, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. So those are our states we're focusing on. We're in other states, but those are the ones we're digging